Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep, it's definitely video, some sort of video about 80s films that you know, uh uh definitely your mum said you could watch. Hello and welcome to 1987 and today's episode of My Mum Said I Could Watch It. Uh Thank you all so much for your support and your comments, even though often I will remove them because the person in question is banned. House 2, Sean S. Cunningham production, 1987. Franchising. For those of you who aren't aware of how House 2 works, it's pretty. On a plot level, there's a certain 80s by number. Young man who's mysteriously orphaned finally inherits the family home to find out that it has riches and dreams beyond the wildest. Much like the original house, the rooms can be a gateway to a variety of dimensions, normally fixed by a crystal skull, which has also kept his great-great-granddad alive. So there's a certain Ghoulies element already coming in here. Of course, there's a big bad who's out to kill Grandpa and all the other fantastical things, not to mention estraining him from his girlfriend and bringing in wacky hijinks with his wacky mate, and hijinks ensues. Really not, I wouldn't call this a horror by any stretch of the imagination. This is a fantasy comedy. There isn't the darkness of the first film. In fact, I think the easiest way to describe how light-hearted this film is my first experience of it wasn't the film, was the Marvel Comics adaptation, which I've looked up just to check that it was Marvel, Ralph Macchio. So since that is kind of what this show is about, Denmark Street, 1987. Forbidden Planet was in Tin Pan Alley. I had a very considerate dad who would take me around there probably about, I'd say once a month with a set budget, and it would be something like £10. This is outside of the regular pocket money where I buy comic books in the newsagents, but once a month it would be like a £10 trip, and I could get anything I want. In fact, the main memory of why I recall it being £10 is the time I walked in there and the Frank Miller The Dark Knight had come out as an actual trade paperback. I was too young. I only started going in Forbidden Planet. I didn't understand the concept of individual issues. Trade paperback, it's a Batman story, but it was £10. So I stood there in the queue with it, and my dad was like, "You're buying one book," and I was like, "Yeah, but it looks awesome." To give you an idea, at that point, I wasn't really buying comics in terms of serials. I was making a point I was only buying limited series or one shots. I somehow, by osmosis, whatever you want to call it, I was avoiding buying ongoing comics. I was very conscious of that. I wanted a beginning, middle, end. Enter House 2, the movie adaptation. Movie adaptations were a massive thing then because video may have existed, but sell-through really didn't. Bought it, loved it, then rented the film later on in the classic My Mum Said I Could Watch It way. Watching it again now, it's really fun. It's very light-hearted. I would say that I would nephew's 13. Yes. Given what happens in your typical certainly, I think if you're able to deal with Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, you can handle this. On a more personal level, watching the film, there's a certain leveling up throughout it, from dealing with the level 1 bad guy, caveman, to actually dealing with Jesse's arch nemesis. I think it's Reese, the undead cowboy gunslinger. It hits the right notes, the trope, and once they're actually digging up Grandpa, there's the shades of the Friday the 13th music, particularly this is the Jason Lives era. So it's almost beat by beat, particularly the music. But when I realise the productions now, but then again, this isn't that kind of show. I would say that our lead, Jesse, and this has got nothing to do with the actor, is the most pointless lead ever. In fact, he's the naffest man in the entire thing. At least Grandpa, I mean, bless him, my dad recently came out with this one. He was just feeling a bit upset. He's 82 and he went, son, I'm really worried about what it's going to be like when I get old. There's hints that in there, that is just typical man all around. But I would say that the unsung hero, if you really watch the narrative, is Bill Maher's character of the ostensibly sleazy record executive. Now, hear me out here. I know Bill's not got many fans in terms of his personal politics, but 1987 is a very different time, as is his mullet. Now, this is the story that I tell. Young, up-and-coming executive man wearing a tie that doesn't suit him and a mullet that even he doesn't like, because that is the business. It is the business of show. Pursues honoured advice of, junior female executive who, yes, he has a crush on, but he's totally respecting her views. That he flies out here to see this ingenue rock star, sees the commercial process here, is willing to take a punt, even though her manager is absolutely arrogant and a bit of a jackass. While there, sees this other guy, the girl he's got a crush on, her boyfriend is flirting and getting off with some like drunk ex dressed like a French maid. Like, in reasonable words, why would any guy so throw in a relationship to get off with someone dressed as a French maid? And Charlie Bond is so banned, right? Simply wants to expose this affair, and he's not even trying to do it in a really sleazy, hey, I got one up on you, right? He's a genuine guy who's just going to make these two women both very, very successful. He's not making any moves at all, and the denouement is when he turns around, they've left the room, and he goes, shame on you, Charlie, shame on you. And you know what? He means it. He absolutely means it. Bill, if he had inherited, he's just looking at this guy. And what has Jesse actually done? Yes, he was on a cover of a magazine X amount of years ago for art design. We don't even know what he actually did in it. And it has absolutely no impact. He never uses any design. He never uses any architecture. And he never adds anything from this professional, prestigious work that he's done into the situation. His mate deals with everything else. His mate's got an Uzi. Yeah, that's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. His mate even, and you know what? Yeah, his mate's the one who cuts the ropes on the girl who's about to be sacrificed. He just stands there and she falls in love with him. Now, for someone who's supposed to be so heartbroken about his girlfriend walking out to be more successful in LA, right? In so much, he's decided that the best relationship he can go for is with some raven-haired beauty with rich, lush brown eyes who just sort of pouts at him while wearing like well-fitting inner leathers, like, because she doesn't speak to him and he doesn't know, he doesn't realise. She doesn't even try and communicate with him. It's not that she doesn't speak to him. It's not that she doesn't know the language. She doesn't even, just bats her eyelids. I've been there, Jesse. That doesn't last. And once she starts telling you what she thinks, you really will know what she thinks. My ex-wife is also banned from the comments. Production values are very high, actually, on this. Stop motion dinosaurs are fun and pulpy. I will put the caveats of stereotyping cultural things that people can be upset by. I mean, to me, I feel that they're not based on any particular nation as such. There's a vague reference that this woman is from an Aztec sacrifice nation, but ultimately the conversation is which has no relation to anything in life. Final thought is that, of course, the Cheers link is still there. Rochelle, the French maid I alluded to before, has also been in Cheers as an actress. And, Cliff's there. Cliff is electrician stroke adventurer. And the fact that he's seen it all before adds a certain blue-collar Ghostbusters matter-of-factness to it that just elevates every scene he's in. I mean, he's hilarious anyway. Yep, well, looks like here we got it at 5. It's just done, but done so well. Absolutely entertaining. Fun watch. Quite frivolous. I don't think it bears much scrutiny over what I've given it now. But I would say, if you want to put on something light-hearted in the afternoon and you've got older teens, and you want to show them stuff that's a bit scary in terms of special effects, in terms of the spectacle of it, but ultimately no one dies, you really can't get a better house than this. Totally check it out. It's part of Shudder, and I think in terms of 88 minutes, nice mug of tea, and take your brain off the day, absolutely recommend. So that's all I've got to say about this one. Do check it out. Do share, like, subscribe. Apparently that's the thing you do. They're there, I think. That's where the buttons are. And I'll catch up with you guys soon. Bill Maher was very good in this.